up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper, with Call Her Daddy.
Victoria Beckham, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Thank you for having me.
You don't even know. I think you have been not only just like someone I've wanted to have on the podcast. This predates the podcast. You have been someone I've looked up to. You are iconic. I have idolized you forever. And to be sitting in the same room with you and getting to interview is such an honor. So thank you for being here. Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me. I have to say, about 6 months ago, I sat down with my team and we were looking at all the opportunities and things that we could do to talk about the documentary. And Call Her Daddy came up in conversation. And I looked around the room and some people looked horrified. And I'd never listened. And so I went home and I started listening right from the beginning. And I have to say, because I'm a little shy myself, I thought, who on earth would ever think, because I am really shy and I totally respected what you were doing. I really did. So liberating and wonderful for girls. But I was like, I just could never go on that show. And I became hooked. I'm a huge, huge fan. I'm excited to be here. I don't do many interviews. I love what you do. And I'm humbled to be here.
Truly, like you saying that, thank you, because I get it. I think early days of Call Her Daddy was so sexual and I'm so proud of that. And then I think we can do both as women, which we're going to talk about today, as just like you can be multifaceted and it's okay as a woman. But I'm so happy you kind of got through the threshold of like, we won't be talking about blowjobs today, everyone, unless you want to. But I think we're going to talk a little bit about some other stuff today. And then maybe I'll warm you up and we'll see. You're okay. Like, no, Alex, shut up.
Okay.
Okay, Paris.
Yes.
You just got back from Paris Fashion Week. Tell me, how was the show?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was a huge, huge success. You know, I never take for granted that every show is going to be successful, go well. It's Paris. It's everything. It's the dream, and there's a lot of pressure. But it was fantastic. It really was. I'm so happy.
Also in Paris, I feel like I've heard that you and David love Paris together. What is one of like the sexiest fun date nights that you've had in Paris together?
Do you know, in the early 2000s, we used to escape to Paris. We say that's one of our happy places. You know, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, it was so opulent. It was really opulent. And actually, that's why I named one of my fragrances Suite 302, because that was the suite that we used to stay at in Paris in the early 2000s. And it's so sexy and it's inspiring. I love the food. I love the wine. I love the fashion.
So good.
I love Paris.
Okay, let's talk about the documentary. I loved it so much, but I recognize that you've been busy. This comes out. And everyone's like, wait, I need to know, why was this something you wanted to do?
Well, thank you. I, by the way, loved your documentary. I have to say, it was really, really great. You know, I've been in fashion now coming up for 20 years. And I was in the Spice Girls, a time that I'm so proud of. But I was in the Spice Girls for 4 years. And I've been so defined by that 4-year period and fighting preconceptions for 20 years, you know, because I love what I do in fashion. I take it really, really seriously. And it's taken this amount of time for me to feel that I can reflect and talk about that time without it affecting my brand and making people think it is a celebrity brand, because I've been fighting those preconceptions for so many years.
I really appreciated how you broke that down in the documentary. And I think a huge theme that we're going to talk about that many women listening will be able to relate to is just how it is so hard for women to be taken seriously as a multidimensional woman, right? Like a lot of people like to put us in a box of like, you're this, you're a Spice Girl. No, you can't be that in this. And so that I think is a huge undertone of your documentary that I had so much respect for. And I also really related to. So we are going to get into all of that. Before we do, I do also want to just know, like, I know you love being in control.
Yes.
So how did that impact your decision to agree to do a documentary where, like, I kind of know, like, you didn't have full edit control? Like, what was going on there, Victoria?
I said that I went into the documentary process a control freak. I came out the other end a reformed control freak.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't have that control. The cameras were following me when I was at work, working on the, that was the biggest show that we've ever done. And so my focus was that. And I couldn't control the lighting and the angles. And it was quite liberating. It was liberating, but it was people's response to David's documentary that really gave me the confidence to do it, because when Netflix first approached me, I genuinely questioned, did anybody really care about what I did when I go to work every day? I genuinely mean that. And it was my team who convinced me to do it. My husband that forced me to do it. And it was a really great experience. I'm always living in the present and thinking forward. I'm super ambitious. I like to dream big and then dream even bigger. But this was the first time that I've ever reflected, and it was emotional.
As a fan, I think my favorite part of the documentary is we got to see you young, childhood. We got to see you in your Spice Girls era. We got to see WAG era. We got to see you in business mode, fashion, mom, wife. Like, we got all of it. And that was so fulfilling as a fan and as someone who respects you.
Thank you.
So let's go back to the very, very beginning. Childhood. Talk to me about where you grew up. What was your family like growing up? Let's just start there.
Yeah. So I grew up in a London suburb. I've got a younger brother and sister. And my dad, who I would say has probably been the most inspiring to me, because my dad was a real entrepreneur. I don't come from a particularly privileged background. My parents were working class.
Wait, this is like giving me flashbacks to David's documentary where he pops his head and he goes, "What do you mean by working class? What was going on with the Rolls Royce?" Wait, what? Explain. Because he was like, no, they weren't working class. Explain.
Well, my mum and dad were working class. My dad was a real entrepreneur.
Okay.
And my dad started his own business and he worked really, really hard. And in the 80s, there was a boom and my dad made a lot of money. So the first thing he did, he went and bought that Rolls Royce. That's what I used to sit with my brother and sister in like a little production line. And my dad would have us all making electrical stuff. I don't even know what it was, because if someone phoned my dad and said, we want whatever it was, and my dad couldn't get it, we would make it, you know?
Where were you in the lineup of your siblings? Are you middle, oldest, youngest?
I'm the eldest.
Of course you are.
So my mum and dad would sit us down and we would make things. And then my dad would box it all up. We'd be put in our pajamas and my dad would put us in his van and we would go out at night and we would deliver all of these things that we'd made.
So you were immediately kind of hustling with your family from a young age.
Yes.
Work ethic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now describe to me your personality as a kid.
My personality, I was quite shy.
Okay.
I was quite shy. I was quite an awkward child. As a teenager, I was just awkward. I remember at a really early age, a family friend saying to my mum that I was morose. And that's quite a tough thing to say to a kid. And when I understood what that meant, that really did affect me. It made me very, very self-conscious, even more shy.
When you look back, did you feel that way?
I just think I was a teenager and, you're going through so many changes. Your body's changing. I had terrible skin. I was awkward.
That's what I think was something in the documentary that I think is going to be shocking for people to learn, was that you were bullied as a young girl. And most people see you today, right? And you're Victoria fucking Beckham, you're Posh Spice. They're like, what do you mean you were bullied? Like, how is that even possible? Can you talk to me a little bit more about that experience and like what were kids saying to you?
I was bullied at school. I just didn't, I didn't fit in socially, because when all the other kids after school were smoking and hanging out, I was going to dancing lessons or I was going to drama lessons. So socially, I didn't fit in. But also, I was, I had terrible skin. I had awful acne. I had very lank hair. I remember standing in the playground and literally standing on my own and kids just picking up Coke cans from puddles and throwing them at me. I mean, I was physically and mentally really bullied at school, and we didn't talk about mental health like we do nowadays. And so I just internalized all of that, and it just made me more and more shy.
Did you never kind of open up to your parents about it? Did you tell anyone?
No, I didn't. And I have such supportive parents. I love my parents so much. But I suppose I was ashamed, embarrassed. And so I didn't tell anybody. But my entire school life was miserable. I also struggled academically enormously. Looking at my children now and their academic journey, I'm a self-diagnosed dyslexic. I suffer from dyscalculia, all those things that weren't recognized when I was a kid. They just called me thick.
It is weird because I think sometimes when you're bullied, you can have this almost like internalized motivation that we used as. Doesn't mean it didn't hurt, but it feels like you really leaned into the arts because that's where you were feeling seen. And even though it was so painful and you didn't tell anyone, it's because you were embarrassed. But it kind of propelled you forward in a way. And I look back at it, and I'm not saying I'm happy it happened to me, but do you now look back and see that, like, can you turn it into a little bit of a positive ever?
Yeah, because it gave me a thick skin, because that bullying continued when I went to college and I was told that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't look right. I was told I was too fat to even be on the stage, and that gave me a thick skin, I suppose, for what I was going to get next, which was very much a public bullying, really, from the media. So I think it toughened me up and prepared me for what was coming next.
Prepared you, but also it is a shame because it shouldn't have to be that way, right? Like you talking about having someone tell you that you're too, quote, fat to be standing at the front of the line. Like, how did that impact the way that you saw your body at a young age?
It definitely affected me. And, when you're younger and your hormones are flying around all over the place, your body is changing. And on top of that, when I was a teenager, I was diagnosed with having polycystic ovaries, which was just another hurdle because that can mess with your skin. It can mess with your body. I was told that I could possibly struggle to get pregnant and have children. So when you're a teenager, these elements are difficult to digest.
Not only that, I think even you emphasizing like at the time, mental health, all these things, especially being a woman at that time, it's like you don't really have the information that we do and we're privy to now. So to be dealing with hormonal imbalances, to be dealing with acne, to be dealing with bullying, you're like, where do I turn? And you turn to the arts. You go to a performing arts school for high school. And I know that you said you weren't necessarily the best dancer or performer, but that you worked really hard. Was this something that people told you, or were you just extremely self-critical?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think when I was younger and I was at dancing school, I was a big fish in a small pond. But then when I went to college, I was a little tiny fish in a big, big pond. And I wasn't that great. I mean, I worked really hard. And I think the common thread here, or the thread through this story, I've always had to work hard. Nothing's come easy. I've been told no so many times. But every time I've been knocked, I've bounced back up.
What did you want to do? Like when you were young, what was your dream career?
I wanted to be in musicals. I wanted to be in, whether it was Cats or Starlight Express or, I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to musical theatre.
Okay, so take me back and tell me the story of how you auditioned for the Spice Girls. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Uber Eats. You guys already know Uber Eats delivers your late night cravings in your favorite restaurants, but now they are delivering something just as exciting. Sephora. Yeah, you heard that right, which means a glam squad is basically right at your fingertips. All your Sephora beauty essentials can now show up right at your door in as little as 25 minutes. And do not worry, everything is the exact same price as the store. Right now, you can treat yourself even more with $10 off your first Sephora order when you spend $50 or more on Uber Eats. Daddy Gang, I cannot tell you how often I go to put on my favorite lipstick only to realize I left it sitting on my desk at the office. I'm like, wait, well, how am I supposed to do that? Boom, Uber Eats, boom, Sephora. Or the amount of times that I just left the house with no mascara and I forgot that I literally have nothing on my face, and then I'm at work and I'm like, boom, Uber Eats, Sephora. Now I don't have to worry about that because Sephora is just clicks away, being on your bathroom counter or at work or wherever you are, girls. So order Sephora on Uber Eats today and get your glam delivered straight to your door. Ends October 30th, limited one order. Other terms apply. Check app for availability. Delivery fees may apply. Okay, so take me back and tell me the story of how you auditioned for the Spice Girls.
So there used to be a weekly newspaper that was called, it was called The Stage. And every week I would go through this newspaper, and there were auditions for cruise ships. And, do you want to be a topless dancer on a cruise ship? Maybe not that. Okay. Maybe not that. Though respect to anybody who's doing it. Or, theatre productions. And I saw an advert for a girl band. So I circled the girl band, and it never occurred to me to be in a pop group at all. So I saw the audition. I went into London. And I queued up. There was a queue around, quite a way out of the studio where the audition was. I queued up and I went in. And when everyone else was singing Madonna, Whitney Houston, I sang, Mine Hair from Cabaret.
Wait, okay.
I mean.
And were they like, sweetie, give us Madonna? And you're like, no, this one's gonna hit. Were they like, what is she doing?
They probably, I don't know what the hell they saw in me. I look at that videotape now and I'm like, what did they see?
Do you remember what you were wearing?
I was wearing, I think, black leggings and a crop top.
Love.
And I listen, I've always been a bit eccentric, but even back then.
So you go in, you're wearing your leggings, you're looking fabulous. What response did you get in the room? Like, do you remember what they said?
Well, I remember getting through to the next round.
Okay.
So, Alex, I don't know what they saw in me. When everybody else is like singing like cool pop songs, I was...
Wait, for the second round, did you bring another cabaret song?
I think
we pivoted.
I think the second audition, I think I sang Stevie Wonder. I think they gave us a song. It was Stevie Wonder. It was, yeah.
They're like, sweetie, that's awesome. You can do this. Sing this song, please. We need you to sing this fucking song.
Yes.
Okay, so you lean in, and then when do you find out you get the part?
There were quite a few auditions. We had to keep going back. So it took quite a few rounds. And then when they found 5 of us, because Emma wasn't in the first lineup. There was another girl called Michelle who was one of the 5. They put us all in a house in Maidenhead. And we didn't know each other. We had to live in a house together, which you can imagine, 5 girls that didn't know each other all living in a house together, dreaming of being pop stars.
How did it go? Did you get close, or were you all like, okay, wait, we kind of hate each other, but we got to make this work?
Honestly, we had the best time. We really did. I mean, it didn't work out with one of the girls. So she got replaced with Emma.
Which was meant to be, like, sad for the other girl, but Emma was, because Emma's baby, right?
Yes, correct,
there's no other baby in the world. She had to be baby. Who were you the closest with throughout that time in your career?
We were all close with each other,
Okay.
to be honest with you. I mean, each girl is very different. I mean, you got to remember, we were 5 misfits that had all been told no, all been told we weren't good enough, all from very different backgrounds. But we worked together. We all said individually we weren't that great, but together we were something.
But I think that's what was so magical about it, because I was thinking about it as I was writing this. I'm like, as a young girl, like, what was so inspiring about you guys? Of course, we had girl power, and that was like the peak of it all. But it was also like the way that you guys came together, and you could really identify with each and every one of you in different ways. And it wasn't always that I was feeling like posh. I was sometimes feeling like baby or ginger or scary, whatever it be.
People think that those images were put on us. We all looked like that. The first time I met Emma, she had those pigtails and a little baby doll dress. Jerry had the big boobs and the red hair. Mel C was in the tracksuit, and Melanie B was wearing leopard print. You know, no one. It's funny because I've heard so many times that a manager there was a man behind it, Alex. A man,
Of course.
a man created those characters. That's who we were. You know, I did wear the little black dress and have the shiny brown bob, you know, that's who we were. No one put that on us. That was so authentically us.
No, that's fucking iconic, because you're so right. Everyone's like, it must have been the producers or the managers that were like, your name is Posh Spice, sweetie, okay? Meanwhile, you're like, this has been me my whole life, babe. Like, clock in and like get used to it. Okay, so you skyrocket to fame, like truly to a level of fame that I don't think anyone could have imagined, right? Can you explain how your life started to change immediately?
It did change immediately, and it was so fun, so fast paced. You know, I wanted to be the popular girl at school, and I was not. I was that kid that was bullied and beaten up, and I dreamt of being that popular girl. Overnight I was, and I was doing it with my 4 best friends, and I feel emotional when I think about it, because it was everything. It was everything that I dreamed of, and everything changed for my family, changed for my brother and sister, you know, and it was fast.
What do you think was the most jarring part of it all changing overnight? Because like you said, for your family, for yourself, it's all fun at first. But when you look back, what do you think was the most like disorienting, jarring part of it?
I think it must have been strange for my family, the fact that one day I was a normal teenager, and then the next day there were hundreds of fans outside my parents' house, and paparazzi, and the stories in the media, and you know, when we went out, being chased by paparazzi and people asking for autographs and things like that. It was exciting for everyone, and you know, I was so lucky that I could have my family come with me, travel the world and take my parents, take my brother and sister. We all did. So all of our families went on this fun journey with us. It was fun until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the negative sides of it all, I have some pictures.
Okay.
We're going to go down memory lane. We're going to start with number 1. I just want you to look at the picture.
Yeah.
Tell me what comes to mind,
okay,
and explain it to people who maybe are listening on audio.
Okay. So when I was in the Spice Girls, I've never worn designer clothes. But when I was in the Spice Girls, the other girls were not interested in fashion. So when it came to stage performances or videos, I got all the budget. So guess where I went, Alex? I went to Gucci. And Tom Ford, who is... I love Tom. I love him so much. He's like my inspiration. Everything he's done with fashion and beauty. So Tom Ford was the creative director of Gucci, and this was a Tom Ford Gucci dress.
So sickening.
I don't know where I was going.
You looked hot. And did you lean into wearing mostly all black, or was that kind of something that then you were like, okay, this is my image, I got to keep wearing all black?
Well, the original Posh Spice Gucci dress was not Gucci. That was from a high street. I think it was Miss Selfridge, which I don't know if you had that in America, but in the UK, it was very much an inexpensive high street dress.
Love. And then you're like, all right, let's switch to Gucci, baby.
Absolutely.
Okay, next picture. You're wearing matching outfits, which I feel like you never wore. What is this?
Matching outfits and push-up bras. I mean, this is so 90s. I love this.
Do you remember where you are?
I think that this was the premiere of Spice World, the movie.
Oh. Would you ever wear that again?
Do you know, I don't hate the suit.
Okay.
I don't hate the suit. I'd probably do a single-breasted rather than double-breasted, but...
Perfect. She's a fashion designer. She knows what she likes now. Okay, talk to me about this picture.
Okay, this is one of the posters for Spice World, the movie.
Can you tell me what was the most fun part of shooting that movie?
We did have fun doing that. And there was a script, but every time someone went to put a script in front of us, we were like, no, it's fine. We're just going to ad lib. It was a bit like when they tried to choreograph us on stage. We were like, what? No, we're just going to do our thing.
You know, now thinking back, because that movie was actually my religion, you guys, I remember you on the tour bus or whatever, and that is exactly how it felt. It felt like we were watching you guys in real life. And I'm like, is this a character or is this actually who they are?
Every time they tried to give us a line, we were like, what do you mean? No, I'm just going to say this. I mean...
Okay, wait. But in that photo, what I did recognize is obviously everyone is smiling in the photo.
Yes.
And you are doing your signature posh look. Can you talk to me about how the whole not smiling thing started?
I think it probably, I know it comes from a place of insecurity, but then it became part of my alter ego, if you like. And so it just continued.
How do you think, though, that you leaning into that impacted your image and how people perceived you and saw you?
I think people saw me as very serious. Let's be honest. When you're watching fashion shows, it's quite a serious thing. That's how the girls walk down the catwalk. And I lent into it. And then
it kind of worked.
And I owned it.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay, next picture.
Oh, here we are with the Queen.
Oh, honey, you're with the fucking Queen. Talk to me about what it was like meeting her.
It was so exciting. I mean, I'm so proud to be British. I'm very, very patriotic. So is David. So are the kids. So this was very, very exciting.
Really cool. Okay, next one. What do you recognize about this?
Okay, so this was the Say You'll Be There video. It was so hot in the desert. I'm in a PVC catsuit. It was crazy hot. But this was the video that when David saw that video, he was in a hotel with his friend, preparing for a game that he had the following day. And he was watching MTV and that video came on and he said to his friend, I'm going to marry her.
I can't imagine the amount of men that actually saw you in that and said the same fucking thing. But thank God it was David that actually is the one that got to do it. You look so hot in that. Okay, so he loved it.
He loved it. He loved it.
Okay, next. Talk to me.
The wedding.
Tell me everything.
The wedding.
Purple.
So these were very purple. And look at baby Brooklyn.
I know. I was like,
So
is he
good.
in purple too?
He is.
Fully
He
blending
is.
in.
These were the outfits that we wore for the nighttime part of the wedding. Yeah.
How did you pick purple?
Do you know? I don't know. We put these outfits on recently, I have to say, and mine wasn't too bad. Mine was not too bad. David's, he looked like the dancing man emoji. That's exactly what the dancing man emoji wears. But he's owning it.
Oh, I mean, you guys are so fucking hot. Wait, how did David propose to you?
We were in a hotel up north, and yeah, we're both quite traditional, and so it was quite traditional. He asked my dad before he asked me.
So cute. Okay, next photo. Last one.
This is us. I think we were out shopping in Bond Street, and this was not a real Louis Vuitton handbag. This was a fake one. And Marc Jacobs, who was the creative director of Louis Vuitton, got in touch with me when he saw this picture, and he's like, I'm going to send you a real one. Because this was a snide.
You're lying to me. At that point, this is fake?
Yes, not as posh as you think, Alex. Not all the time.
Wait, okay. You had some of the most iconic street style, obviously, and you still do. How much of your 90s wardrobe do you have archived?
Do you know, I actually sold quite a lot of it and gave the proceeds to charity a few years ago because Harper keeps saying, you were so cool. You were so cool. I'm like, great. What does that mean? I'm not cool now. She's like, no, mummy, but you were really cool then.
Oh, my God.
But yeah.
Does she ask to borrow your clothes a lot?
She's getting there.
Okay.
She's getting there.
You're trying to convince her, babe, I'm still cool. She's going to come around.
She's going to come around.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Okay, so during the height of the Spice Girls, like we see, you start dating Mr. David Beckham. Mm-hmm. How did you guys meet?
I went to see him in a football game because my manager at the time was a big Manchester United fan.
Okay.
So he took me to see David play football.
And just to see David or see the team and then you saw David?
See the team. I'd seen him because in the 90s, you used to, I don't know if you can still do it now, but you used to collect like little stickers of footballers.
Okay.
And so I'd seen him on a sticker. Like he saw me in the Spice Girls video. I saw him on a sticker. So that was part of the reason why I agreed to go. I don't like football. That was the only reason why I agreed to go to the game. What do I care about football? I just cared about the sticker boy.
And did you previously have long-term relationships? Like, were you looking for something serious?
I'd had a couple of relationships, but I mean, I was 22 when I first met David. And what first really attracted me to him is after the game, we went into the players' lounge, which is just a lounge where literally all the players used to just meet their friends and family and have a drink. And all the other players were having a beer with their mates at the bar. And David was standing there with his younger sister and his parents. And obviously he's really good looking. But, you know, I'm very close to my family. And that was a real attraction as well.
It's adorable. So who made the first move?
Well, I had had a few glasses of wine. And so probably me. He's quite shy, David. Probably me. And I had Mel C with me.
Oh, so you were like feeling yourself.
Yeah, probably. And, you know, he wasn't even playing for the first team. I was in the Spice Girls.
You're hot
so,
shit. Yeah. You're like, let me take the lead here, babe. I got this one. What was your first date?
Okay, so the first date / dates were... Well, my manager had said, try to keep your relationship as private as you can, because as soon as anybody finds out, you know, it's going to be very difficult for the two of you. So for quite some time, we would meet each other in car parks. Now, not as seedy as that sounds.
Okay.
Nothing dodgy going on in the car park.
Okay.
Have to point that out.
Okay, perfect.
I can see the headline now. But, God. But it was such good advice because it was great to get to know him. And we would just sit. My mum or dad would drop me off at the car park. I'd get in the car with David and we would just spend hours just talking, just getting to know each other.
Honestly, it's like really, really cute to think about you two like huddled in the back seat, nothing going on, but just talking. Yeah. Who said I love you first?
I think he probably said it first and then I said it immediately afterwards.
You didn't make him wait. Okay. In the early days of dating, you're at the height of your career. You're a Spice Girl. He's kind of just getting started. How did that impact your relationship? Like, how did David handle it? That you're so famous and he's not at that level?
You know what? He fitted in so seamlessly, you know, with the other girls. I mean, I remember being on tour, doing a show in Manchester, sneaking him into my room, and literally the following morning, David having to jump out the window and do the walk of shame, and having to skip training because of the blisters on his feet, because he literally had to do the walk of shame in his clothes from the night before. But he fitted in with the other girls, and they loved him right away. And he's so comfortable in his own skin.
I think that's something that was really admirable of watching your documentary was like, most men are intimidated by successful women. Mm-hmm. How did David early on prove to you that he was, if anything, just so attracted to you and didn't really give a shit about that?
He's always been so supportive of me. When I was on tour, he'd be there and he'd be standing at the side of the stage watching. And yeah, he was never insecure about anything like that.
So we go from you're at the peak of your career, you're the most famous woman, all things are good, and then the end of the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
And Jerry announces she's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
What conversations were happening behind the scenes? Were you shocked? Did you know it was coming? Like, tell me what would happen.
No, she just left. She just left. And by the way, I was on the phone to Jerry this morning about something completely different. And we even laughed about it this morning. She just left. And we did not have any idea until she just didn't turn up. And we can laugh about it now. But at the time, we were like, okay.
Once then you guys officially ended.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about your life and the immediate aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
Spice Girls break up. What do you do?
So I met David when I was 22. I was pregnant when I was 24. I went on tour when I was pregnant. I remember being in Miami in August. It is hot. I'm in a PVC. There's something, isn't there, Alex, about the PVC catsuit?
You love the catsuit.
Honestly.
You look amazing.
I mean, my God, I was feeling myself in the catsuit. I was in a PVC catsuit. I was pregnant. It was an amphitheatre, outdoor theatre, and it was August. It was hot. And I had a bucket on the side of the stage, and I would have to keep running off the stage, throw it. I had terrible morning sickness. Whoever calls it morning sickness, that sickness goes on all day and all night. I was so sick with Brooklyn. And I remember saying to the tour manager, I just can't do anymore. And he'd say, you got to do it. There's only 103 more shows to go.
Casual.
Yeah, casual.
Perfect.
Yeah. And so after those shows, that's when it finished. And I had Brooklyn. I moved to Manchester, which is where David was living and playing for Manchester United. And by this point, he is in the first team. He's a big star. And it was quite the transition for me because I was so happy to be with David, have a baby. I felt so blessed. But I felt a bit lost as well. It was difficult, going from being in the band, traveling the world, being on stage with your best friends to all of a sudden being in a flat in Manchester on your own with a baby. It was tough.
I remember that moment in the documentary where you're like, the juxtaposition in that, like, it happened almost overnight, where it's like the screams and then the silence.
Yeah.
How did that affect your identity?
It was really difficult because on one hand, I felt so lucky and so blessed and so in love, but I was struggling to find my sense of purpose. And I felt ashamed to admit that I didn't feel entirely fulfilled. And it was difficult. And his career was taking off. And I was trying so hard to be supportive of him, but really struggling to find my own identity again.
I think that's something really relevant. I've had friends recently having children, and they stopped working and they thought, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be a mom. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the greatest gifts, so I understand. And then if you are maybe someone who has worked, there's this almost reality where you feel so guilty because you're like, wait, I love this and I'm so happy I have my baby, but like, I don't feel fulfilled. And I think a lot of women struggle to admit that they're not just okay being a mom, and because I think it makes you feel guilt, I'm assuming, and shame of like, why isn't it enough to be just with your baby?
Yeah.
And so talk to me about how you started to grapple with like, I should be happy,
Yeah.
but is there more for me? And how did you begin to transition away and start to kind of try to focus in on what is next?
I felt like there was a clock in my head that was just tick, 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 ticking away. And I just struggled to figure out what was next. And you're right, you do feel guilty because on one hand, you're so lucky, you're so blessed. But I knew that I wanted more. And being so much older now, I am so thankful and so grateful. And if ever I can offer anyone any advice for whatever it's worth, if you have the opportunity to go back to work, which I was lucky, I did have that opportunity. I am so glad I did. I am so glad I did.
Yeah. Before you went back, though, and again, it's so crazy with your life because everything is so public, is we then see you lean into your WAG era.
Yes.
And you lean into being the wife of David Beckham. Talk to me about your decision to really lean into this persona.
I was a WAG and I had fun. I was there to support David. I was there with the 3 boys, which, by the way, 3 little boys. I mean, now I've got 4 kids, but at the time, 3 little boys. That is not parenting. That shit right there is crowd control, Alex. I had a lot of kids.
God bless.
And I was owning it and I was loving it. I'm a real girls girl. I love girls. And so to be there with the other WAGs, I had fun. There was one of those girls that went shopping and bought so many clothes she couldn't get in the revolving doors of the hotel because she had so many shopping bags.
You're like, this needs to be me. I like this life. I want to lean in.
It was great.
Can you describe to anyone that hasn't maybe seen the paparazzi photos, like describe your style and your look during this era?
Yeah, I had big boobs.
Okay.
I had very big boobs and I would wear little tiny hot pants or tiny, tiny short skirts. And I look at those pictures and I smile because I think it's been such a journey. But the truth is, I think that was, again, another, it was me, that was me showing that I was actually really insecure. And that is how I stayed relevant. That was how I stayed in the conversation. That's how I expressed myself because I did not have the creative outlet that I do have now, nor when I was in the Spice Girls.
Yeah, you referenced that in the doc, which I loved that you owned, where you were like, it was attention seeking. Like
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing. What toll, though, did that take on you emotionally?
To be honest, I was happy to be there and support David. I say, on one hand, yes, I am a feminist, but I'm also happy to be there and show up and support my husband. And he does exactly the same for me. So I was happy to support him. I was there with the kids. A lot of the other wives didn't have children. So I was also being a mom. And yeah.
I think something that people may not know, and then people that are huge fans will know, is the way that the press has treated you throughout your career. Can you talk to me about in the early days of just like overall what you remember them saying about you?
So this was early 2000s and the media was very different to what it is now. And it was almost like a movement at the time. And yeah, I've had my fair share of bad, hurtful things being said about me. And I remember saying to my mum once, I felt like I was in a boxing ring and I just didn't know where the next punch was coming from. And quite often it was incredibly personal, the things that people were saying. And, I never talked about it. We said earlier, we talk a lot about mental health now. We didn't talk about it then. We just internalized.
I mean, Victoria, you went on a show where they had you step on a scale.
Yes.
And weighed you
yes.
in front of a live audience. I mean, what do you remember in that moment feeling?
very self-conscious. I mean, Brooklyn was 6 months old and I was asked to stand on scales. It was the only part of the documentary that we were asked to not include, but you can Google it and you can see me literally getting up and standing on some scale. I mean, it was so humiliating. David was there. He was in the audience and the camera shifts to him and he looks a little horrified as well. But back in the day, those things were acceptable, you know.
What was the point of all of this? Like, were they just trying to prove you were a certain weight? Like, what was the goal?
I suppose, you know, there is that old school thought process of how quick do you bounce back to your weight after having a baby? I mean, after I had Brooklyn, I was on the front page of a newspaper a few days afterwards, and there were arrows pointing to every single part of my body and where I had to lose the weight. Every single part. And, you know, again, it's a very, very different world now.
It is, but it's those type of things, I think, why I appreciate you touching on it a little bit in the documentary is like it's similar to the bullying when you're younger. It's like this shit stays with you. No matter if it was 20 years ago or 2 minutes ago, when someone says something, and especially on the world stage where people are buying these fucking newspapers and they're laughing, haha, look at Victoria Beckham. Yeah, she needs to lose it here and there. That's traumatizing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote down the press literally would switch between calling you porky posh and skeletal posh. Talk to me at that point of how this impacted your relationship to your body.
I'd struggled with my weight since I was quite young. You know, in the 90s, you know, I remember, you know, we didn't know as much about food back then as we do now. It wasn't so much of a conversation. And I remember in the 90s, everybody was obsessed with fat-free, fat-free, fat-free. And I remember being terrified to eat any fat, absolutely terrified. I remember my mum saying to me, gosh, you could walk around the supermarket and know the calorie count and the fat count of pretty much anything in the supermarket. So I was really mindful when I was growing up. And that was confusing enough for me. And so I think then going into the Spice Girls and having people talk about me so much and my weight, and as you said, 1 minute I was porky posh and then I was skinny posh, and it plays tricks with you. And I didn't know what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I had no idea. You know, you lose all sense of reality, and it is so consuming, it is so tiring, and it takes over. It really takes over.
You said when you have an eating disorder, you become very good at lying.
Yes.
Did you confide in anyone at this point in your life?
No one at all.
When did you feel ready to open up to David?
David has always known that I've been very disciplined about the way that I eat. And I managed to turn myself, because I was too scared to talk to anyone, you know. I didn't feel that I could trust anyone at all. I managed to do it myself and turn an unhealthy obsession with food into a healthy relationship, meaning understanding it's about balance, it's about being healthy, about working out. And David helped me do that. You know, David was the one that changed my workout around. You know, I was doing cardio. All I wanted to do was burn. He was the one that encouraged me to start weight training, and we work out together. And so he's always been so supportive, and I'm very disciplined in the way that I eat. I'm healthy, I'm disciplined, and it's about balance.
Yeah. It's so hard as a woman because you're either too skinny or you're too fat, or people call you healthy looking, and it's like, oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God. There is never someone that you're like, yeah, that person looks perfect. There's always something about a woman. you having to look at these pictures of yourself, you saying there's magazines. Were there moments where you would see photos and then it would immediately trigger you back in the day and impact your eating?
Oh God, I remember I was sitting around a hotel swimming pool in LA. I was pregnant with Brooklyn. I was wearing a bikini and my hair was all over the place, and they got a paparazzi picture of me. It was on the front page of the newspaper, and it basically just said, I mean, I think they literally called me fat. And I mean, I was pregnant at the time, and you know, it was a moment in time. I never like to seem like I'm complaining, because I'm not. You know, this conversation naturally came up in the documentary. I didn't go into this documentary process even thinking that we would talk about this. It's just obviously reflecting and looking at my journey. It just naturally came up in conversation.
But I do want to validate you, Victoria, because I understand, again, you're a public figure, and anything you talk about, you also, yes, you have to be mindful of, like, I'm not playing victim. I don't want, I'm asking you these questions because this is one of the most relatable things a woman can ever go through in her life. And the fact that you have dealt with it and will continue to deal with it for the rest of your life, as we all do, that's, I think, why people fucking love you. Because you're like, hey, I didn't know what I was seeing when I was looking in the mirror. I wasn't feeling healthy. And that is relatable. It's unfortunate. But I guess, what do you wish would change about the way media talks about women and our image and our body?
Well, I think that the media have to be so much more mindful and accountable for, which I think is great. Listen, they've worked a way around it. They'll say, this person looks great. However, the trolls say, can everyone just be kind? For fuck's sake, I've got to be honest. It's like my mum said to me when I was growing up, if you don't have something nice to say, shut up and don't say anything at all. Why don't we just be kind to each other, right?
You're so right. It's like, we didn't say it here over at Page Whatever, but the trolls have said that she's looking a little thicker. You're like, oh.
You know what the best one is? Like, this person looks like shit coming out the supermarket. You're coming out the supermarket. Do you know what I'm saying? Or this person was a big star in the 80s. Look how shit they look now. Do you know who it is? What?
No, it's so fucked up.
Right?
It's so crazy. So you're dealing with all of this. They're talking about your body. They're talking about you, pregnancy, post-pregnancy. And then the press just keeps fucking going. Speculations then at some point in your entire career come out about your marriage. And I know David's doc touched on this, but can you just explain to me, like, for you and David, how did you handle all of that when that came out?
You know, we've had so much thrown at us. And we were talking about it because we've recently celebrated our 26th wedding anniversary.
Congrats.
And by the way, people said it wouldn't work. 26 years. We've had so much thrown at us, and we've always just been there together and just ridden the damn storm. But, you know, just lastly on the eating thing, what is interesting is I've had so many women message me, come up to me after seeing the documentary and say how they can relate. And you know, I've talked to Harper about it, obviously, because she's obviously seen the documentary, and little girls still obsess over food. It's still a big conversation at school. And I think that if my experience with it and my story can help anyone or encourage anyone to talk, that's another really good reason to have done this.
Without a doubt. Is that how you... Did Harper know this prior, or did you kind of like allow her to understand this information through the filming of the documentary?
I talked to her because I hadn't seen the final edit until the
so crazy.
until the premiere. I was like, well, at this point, if I come across as an arsehole, I'm an arsehole, right? And I'm gonna own it, because I didn't know. I was in the hands of the editor, right? It is what it is.
Oh my God.
But I thought that this might have been left in, because obviously I knew that I talked about it, and so I just spent a bit of time talking to her about it so she could understand. You know, when you have an eating disorder, it makes you miserable. It is sad, it is lonely, it is all consuming. I was present for many years, but not truly present. And you know, that's really tough. And you just got to talk about it.
No, I agree. I think that is the beauty of there's still so many things that we have to work on in terms of how we speak about women. But that, the more we talk about it, hopefully then the tabloids and the comment sections will eventually, we can pray, tone it down because it means nothing to them when they're writing it, but it means everything to the young girl or to the woman. When they read that one comment, it can stick with you forever.
Yeah.
And we have to have some more accountability when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's about balance. It's about eating healthily, working out, and just being the best version of yourself, right? That's why I do what I do. I want to empower women through fashion and beauty to just be the best version of themselves.
Love. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by T-Mobile. Daddy gang, let's be real. I'm not exactly known as being like the most like outdoorsy girl, okay? I like a little hot tub outdoor, maybe a little drink on the patio, but that is like literally probably the furthest that I will ever go from my couch. But when Matt and I were on vacation last week, the only thing that this man wanted to do was go on a hike. Was I thrilled about this? Absolutely not. But luckily, Matt didn't have to hear me complain because I was able to text my girls' group chat the entire time we were on this hike. I updated them about how miserable my feet were, sent them some cute pictures of Henry and Bruce, obviously. And I was even able to vent about how mad I was that we took the wrong turn instead of yelling at my poor husband that we went on a longer walk than I anticipated. But even in the middle of nowhere on a random trail with 0 bars, I was able to stay connected with T-Mobile. The new Google Pixel 10 automatically connects to T-Satellite when you're off the grid and has early access to T-Satellite ready apps like Google Maps, Google Messages, even Find Hub, so you can stay connected in places you didn't think possible. And trust me, having access to Google Maps was extremely helpful when I realized that we had walked past the same tree 3 different times, Matt. Thank you. No matter what I'm doing, I know T-Mobile always has me covered. Plus, Magenta status means access to in-flight Wi-Fi. So even up in the air, T-Mobile has my back. You've heard before that you won't believe what you get with Magenta status, but now you won't believe where you are with it either. Check it out at T-Mobile.com/Magenta status. I want to play a little game.
Okay.
So we love you and your husband, and I want to get to know you guys a little bit better. So we're going to play Who is More Likely to.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is more likely to hold a grudge?
David can be a little bit more grumpy than me. I don't. Life's too short. I want to talk about it, draw a line in the sand, and move that shit along.
What is your biggest pet peeve that David does?
Oh my God. He likes to be early everywhere. But really, really, really early. You know the other thing he does? He snores, Alex. Let me tell you. Do you know what he said to me the other day?
No.
He's like, you know when you wear those earplugs, it's not sexy. I'm like, you think that I'm trying to push a look in bed? No, I'm wearing them because you snore. It's not because I'm trying to look sexy in these earplugs.
You're like, babe, if you would just shut up, then I could remove these things, right? It's like the chicken or the egg. It's you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fucking real. What do you think his biggest pet peeve is with you?
Oh, he'd say that I'm untidy. It's just, look, it's controlled chaos in my wardrobe.
The girls get it. The girls get it. You know where everything is. It may look like a disaster, but like, you know.
It's just hair and makeup everywhere.
Fair. Who is more likely to quit during a workout?
David, 100%. He procrastinates all the time. By the way, I'm in the gym for half an hour, 45 minutes before he actually arrives. Then he comes in, he wants to chit chat, you know. So absolutely. Yeah, I'm hardcore in the gym. He's
I wish
a part-timer.
I was asking him these questions because why do I feel like you guys will have 2 fucking complete different answers?
He is a part-timer. Just ask the trainer.
Okay, who is more likely to surprise the other with a romantic gesture?
David, he's very romantic.
What is something he's done for you recently?
He's very good at sending flowers and sending gifts. Have you read the book 5 Love Languages?
No.
Oh my gosh, Alex.
Well, I know what the love languages
everything.
are, but should I read it?
It's a very small book.
Okay.
And David's love language is gifts. And that doesn't have to be expensive things, but that's how he shows love and that's how he feels love. I'm words of affirmation.
Oh, that's a nice one to have a husband, though, who is gifts. I like that.
Yeah, so he gets me really nice gifts and I just tell him he's great.
It's perfect. Okay.
That's why I've got so many nice handbags, let's be honest.
You're like, love you. Thanks. Okay. Who is more likely to send a steamy text?
Oh, David.
Oh. Okay. Who is more likely to cook for a date night?
Oh, him. I can't cook.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't lying when I cried over the damn cheese and ham sandwich. Roland Mouret texted me the other day. He was my fashion mentor, French. And he just said, after seeing the documentary, he's like, okay, the next thing I'm going to teach you is how to make a croque monsieur.
No. Literally, you being like, I can't even make a sandwich. And
No, I
David's
can't.
like, well, we love you, babe. It's okay. And you're literally like, no, this is like really sad. It's really cute, though. You're good at other things, sweetie.
Thank you.
Who is more likely to cancel plans to stay home?
Oh. To be fair, we both love being at home. We work so much and travel so much that, what our perfect night in is? Glass of wine in the vegetable patch.
You sit in the vegetable patch?
David, he's created this incredible vegetable patch in our country house. And it is incredible. And if it's nice weather, we just sit out there, have a glass of wine and, just laugh. He's funny. David Beckham's very funny, by the way.
He is.
He's very funny. People don't realize how funny he is.
Who's funnier?
Me. But of course.
You give him a compliment, you're like, but I'm also better at it.
He's got to keep up. He's got to keep up.
Okay, who is more likely to overshare at a dinner party?
Oh, me. I'll have too much to drink. I'll have too much tequila and then I'll just overshare. I had to make sure I didn't drink today before this, because who knows what I would have
I should have
said.
sauced you up. We'd be getting the... Oh, you're fine.
Let's do that the next one.
Okay, fair.
Next one. Now we know each other.
Perfect. Okay, who is more likely to spoil the kids?
David.
Love that. Okay, you have one daughter, 3 sons. Are the boys ever protective over Harper?
Oh my gosh, so much so.
That's really
so
cute.
So protective, which is very sweet.
She's the youngest, right?
Yeah, she's 14.
I can't imagine, because I have one older brother, 3 older brothers. It's good, but it's going to be a lot for her. Can you imagine when she starts dating?
Well, they're all going to have to go. They're all going to have to go with her.
No, they get a round table.
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, she can look after herself. Harper looks so angelic and she's so appropriate in the way that she dresses. She's got a little mind like an entrepreneur. But I always say she's either going to be a businesswoman or she's going to be a stand-up comedian because she is hilarious.
It sounds like she's got you and David in her, right? She's funny like David and a businesswoman like you. Oh, wait, but you're funnier.
No, she's funny like me and she's a businesswoman like me. But she looks like David. She looks like David.
Victoria, I'm dead. Okay, what is your favorite thing to do with Harper when you guys need a break from all the male energy?
Gosh, what do we like to do together? She's obsessed with beauty. And, of course she's going to be, she was sitting on my lap when she was a little baby when I was doing development meetings for my beauty brand. So
she's just getting those contour sticks for free left and right. Oh my God, a girl could dream.
She gives me beauty tips, by the way. Yeah. She's obsessed.
Is she giving you like TikTok hacks and you're like, what is going on?
She does. When I used to go to school, I used to get sent to the bathroom to take my makeup off every day. Because I used to wear a lot of makeup to cover the horrendous skin I used to have. Harper had makeup on the other day. Very natural, very beautiful. She's got lovely skin. And I said, Harper, you can't wear makeup to go to school. She said, why don't they want me to look my best, Mummy?
She's such a queen.
What do you say to that? She's got a point.
You're like, you know what, babe? Pack the makeup wipes. If they make you take it off, they make you take it off, but serve.
It's hard to know what to say to that.
That's actually so real. Okay, as a mom, I'm sure you're always just worrying about your kids. What is the hardest part about stepping back and letting them make their own decisions as adults?
Gosh, we're such a close family and, communication is key. And we always let them know that anything that they want to talk about, this is a safe forum, that's really important. But, they've got to go on their journeys themselves. I tell you the one thing, we're constantly calling the children of famous parents Nepo babies. Give the kids a chance. It's not their fault, and I think to just give the kids a chance. And our kids are genuinely all really good, sweet, kind human beings. Being kind is so important. Hardworking. They don't expect anything to just happen, you know.
I feel like a huge theme of your life, because it's you and David and you're so famous, is like your family is famous now, and there's always going to be conversation about your life and your family and the dynamics and all of it. Like, how do you and David handle it?
Again, it's just about communicating, you know, and we've always been that way with the kids. And I'm excited for them. You know, they're all very different. They all like to do different things. I mean, Cruz right now, he's about to release a record. I'm sure that's really old-fashioned terminology because I haven't been in the music industry for such a damn long time. But he's a musician. He writes all of his own songs. He plays about 10 different instruments.
Are you like, sweetie, do you want mom on the track?
Oh my God. 100 million albums, Cruz. Let's not forget that. Spice up your life. Oh, I remind him, don't worry about that.
You do? You're like, are you sure you don't want me to just pop on? He's like, Mom, actually leave me alone.
It can be on backup. And you got 4 Spice aunties that would also gladly be on backup, I'm sure. But what's so interesting about Cruz is he's really mastered his craft. He learned to play all of his own instruments. He's like playing in pubs around the country. So a real grassroots approach that he has learned his craft. And I think just give the kids, not just our kids, just let the kids do their thing.
I'm dying at you being like, but don't forget where you came from. 100 million records sold. Get out of here, kid. I feel like a huge conversation today and in the documentary has been about your search for your identity. And fashion has truly, from the beginning to now, been such a core part of you. At what point in your life, though, did you really realize, okay, I actually really want to make a career out of this?
I always loved fashion when I was customizing the school uniform. And throughout the Spice Girls, you know, I was the one that genuinely loved and appreciated the designer brands. And we've worked with the best stylists, the best makeup artists in the industry. And I was always a sponge. I wanted to learn. I wanted all the makeup tips. I was collecting makeup samples and products that had been discontinued. And if the makeup artist couldn't find the perfect nude, she'd mix one up for me. And I collected all those things. I've always been obsessed with product. But it wasn't until I met Roland Murray that I realized that with his help, maybe this is something that I could actually do, because ultimately I couldn't find what I desired with regards to clothing and then later on makeup. You know, I had a point of view. I had a signature from very early on in my sort of fashion journey, because I was just wanted to create what I couldn't find.
I do think, though, something that is obvious is all the way back to the beginning of this interview, which was, it's really, really hard for people to take women seriously if they pivot in their careers. You made the pivot from being a Spice Girl, this pop star, to creating your own brand. Can you talk to me a little bit about the criticism that you had to face early on in your fashion career?
Well, I think the fashion industry turned their nose up to the Spice Girls. And it's crazy because they turned their nose up at that. And because I didn't have a traditional fashion training, but secretly they loved the Spice Girls. I remember we went back on tour and I'd already begun my fashion journey. And, you know, all of the fashion industry, they were all asking me for tickets. And I came out in yet another catsuit, and there's Vogue sitting in the front row and there's Harper's Bazaar. So everybody loved the Spice Girls. And I have to say, no one loved the Spice Girls more than me. But, you know, people had preconceptions because of that, because I didn't have a traditional fashion training.
Do you think, though, when you started to move more towards wanting to really, really engage and become a part of the fashion industry, you kind of had to change your image? And how intense did you have to turn your back on your past and really forge forward with a little bit of a different vibe and image? Can you talk about that?
Well, it was Roland Murray, who was a designer that I'd had so much admiration and respect for. He took me under his wing. He became my teacher. And he said to me, the big boobs, they got to go. It was interesting because once I had the creative outlet that was fashion and the collections, I didn't feel that I needed to dress that way, because that was attention seeking, because I didn't have that creative outlet. And so I just simplified things. I didn't feel that I had to express myself in that way anymore.
Do you feel like you had to kind of shy away and push Posh Spice to the side in order to fully 100% go for the fashion world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. People had preconceptions because I'd been in the Spice Girls, and I was so aware of that. So I had to silence the noise, keep my head down, work hard. And ultimately, it was about the product. I don't ever put anything out there until I truly believe it's best in class, whether that's a simple T-shirt or an eyeliner. It's got to be the best. And so it really was focusing on the product that gave me that credibility.
As you're saying that, I'm like, this is where it's such a double standard for men and women. It's like, you're Posh Spice. You are so glam. You've got the best fashion. Everyone's talking about your outfits. Everyone's talking about your makeup, your entire career in the Spice Girls. Then you do a 180, and whether people liked it or not, your WAG era, you also had another insane vision for this image that you were going to put on this character and walk out those doors and get photographed. And then the minute you want to be taken seriously in another industry, everyone's like, no, sweetie, you're a pop star. Like, please don't do that. Meanwhile, and I love him, it's like a perfect example is Harry Styles can launch vibrators. Everyone's like, so cool. We love this. And it's like, why can men pivot and do these big moments? And everyone's like, it's really smart. It's really cool. And then for you, it's like, sweetie, just be grateful that you had what you had. I wrote down, aside from even that, the misogyny, right? You have people writing articles, and I quote, she should just be happy fucking David Beckham. What does she need a career for?
Yeah.
Like, when you look back and you like hear those articles, how do those comments make you feel? Just be happy you have David Beckham.
It's changing. It has changed. There's still a long, long way to go. I think this documentary has really surprised a lot of people, and we're just scratching the surface. I think that people have watched it, have been like, wait, what, that really happened? Yeah.
That really fucking happened. Let's open our eyes and not let it continue to happen for more decades to come. And let's stop being so in awe in interviews that people said this to people. And let's be like, now let's make a concerted effort to actually stop. Let's stop. Let's stop talking about women in a capacity that is just a singular focus. We can be multifaceted. We can do multiple things, and we can celebrate women. And the more other women uplift other women, more opportunities go all around.
How many things can we do at the same time? Do you know, the other day, David was on his phone doing something, and I tried to have a conversation with him, and he was like, wait. I'm like, what? Hang on. They can't do something on the phone and have a conversation. I'm not criticizing them for it. By the way,
they can't.
At that moment, how many things are we doing? We're
painting our nails. We're also scrolling. We're on the phone, and we're telling our husbands so what time they need to get in the car.
I'm like the bloody traveling circus. I mean, literally. But
it's so real. Something I really, really loved was you being vulnerable and open in this documentary about the realities of what was going on behind the scenes with your fashion brand, right? We see you're cemented as a fashion brand, you're in Paris, you're crushing it. But then you open up about the financial struggles that were happening behind the scenes. And what I loved about that, Victoria, was, again, we're talking about it's nerve-wracking. Right now, this is a huge doc on you and being a fashion designer. You could have just kept it at that, right?
Yeah.
But then you actually let us into some of the not so glamorous side of things. Talk to me about what happened with the finances.
Well, I came from a music background, and most of my team came from a music background. And we just didn't know any better, to be completely transparent. And listen, I'll own it. I'll hold my hands up and say, I know I know differently now. But whilst the collections were getting great reviews and the fashion industry were loving what we were doing, people were desiring the clothes were selling out like crazy, the business was not doing so well. And it was a really tough time. And I've been really honest and really transparent about it in the documentary. It's difficult. The fashion industry is really, really difficult. And I think coming out the other end, to be able to say as an independent brand, fashion in its own right is profitable. Right now, it's not a great time for fashion. I'm so proud of that fact because it has been a roller coaster road, to say the least. Roller coaster ride,
yeah,
to say the least.
We're on a ride. I thought it was really interesting how you talked about how in, losing millions of dollars, you're like, I think people were really afraid to say no to me.
Yeah.
What did that teach you and how to adjust moving forward? And why do you think they couldn't say no to you?
Well, let me tell you, they don't think twice about saying no to me now.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
Perfect.
Which is a good thing.
You're like, I love this material. They're like, no.
Yeah, exactly. It's too expensive. Can't use it. Okay. I was just saying I like the couch. It's good. It's good. I think that people didn't like to tell me no. I think there's a power in celebrity. I think people thought that because of who I was, I expected the best of everything. And, I didn't know any better. That's the truth.
You went to David for financial help. You talk about this. What was that conversation like with him?
It was difficult. He's always believed in me and he's always supported me. But it was a difficult conversation to have because I was new into the industry as well. And it wasn't until that final scene in the documentary where that was the first time David said to me, I was supporting you, I was helping you, but we couldn't really afford it. Yes, David supported me, but we've always supported each other. We share everything, all of the finances we share. But even I wasn't aware at that moment that we weren't really in a position to be able to be propping up the business in that way.
Do you think in hindsight, and I don't want to speak for you, but that was because he didn't want you to feel as stressed as you already were?
No, I think it's because he genuinely believed in what I was doing. He could see the potential in the business. He could see that people were desiring the collections. So he saw that potential. This has never been a vanity project for me. And he could see that. It was a bloody expensive vanity project, if that's what it was. I mean,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Damn, girl.
Yeah.
But now you have not only gotten back on your feet, but it is profitable.
Yes.
And it continues to grow. What does that mean to you now?
It means that I have spent a long time fixing. I now have solid foundations, and now I can really build the house that I've always dreamed of. I think we're just scratching the surface with both the fashion and the beauty. There is so much that we can do. We see huge opportunities. And so now is the exciting part. We've done the fixing.
Yeah, you've done the hard work, and now it's like, let's continue to grow.
Yeah, and I'm so ambitious. There is so much that I want to do, and I'm not afraid to work really hard. And I think we see that through the documentary, right from when I was at school and I was told I was thick and I was told I wasn't good enough. That's happened throughout my whole life. But if you believe in yourself and you have a focus and you're not afraid to put in the hard work, you really can achieve great things. And if anybody can look at this documentary and think, if she can do it, then I'm going to do it. Then, you
did your job.
Yeah, I did.
I also loved the final scene with you and David sitting there at the end of the documentary. And I just want every woman to tune in and listen to this right now, which was so inspiring. You've been through so much. Yes, you could have stopped at being a Spice Girl. You could have been an incredible mother to these beautiful children. You have this fashion brand. You could stop it when it got hard. And David was like, what do you think it is about? Like, what do you think? And at first you're like, oh, I want to make you proud of me or whatever. And he's like, it doesn't have anything to do with me. And then you were like, yeah, why is it bad to be ambitious? Why should I feel ashamed to say, I love this. I love the rush of putting in hard work and seeing my work pay off and seeing something that I've built come to fruition and see people enjoying it and loving it and wearing it or listening to it, engaging with it. And I think no one, and I hate always referencing the double standards, but it's true. Unless we keep talking about it, it's not going to change. No one has ever asked a man, why do you keep going? Why keep going? No one's saying that to these billionaire men. Yeah. No one. So why do we keep asking women, it's enough. You should just be happy. Because I love this shit. Because I have a passion and I can do both. I can be a mother and I can have a career. And that is something we haven't seen represented. And I think this new generation, and you're a perfect example, you're bringing it to life and you're like, let's fucking go, girls. So
as are you.
Stop. I love you.
As are you.
Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Cotton. Cotton makes it so simple to care for yourself and for the world. You guys know there is nothing I love more than being comfortable and cozy, which is why the majority of my clothes are made out of cotton. Cotton is gentle and hypoallergenic, so not only do you look good wearing it, but it also feels good on your skin. Plus, it really breathes, which is important because it means I can wear my favorite sweatsuit even in the middle of an LA summer, as you guys see me do every time on this episode. But it's not just sweats. So many of my go-to staples are actually cotton fabrics, like my favorite pair of jeans from college. I will literally never get rid of those. My cozy flannel pajamas that I sleep in every winter, and the vintage corduroy button-up I stole from my dad. Shout out, Dad. Yeah, that's exactly where it went. It's in my closet, honey. Cotton is so versatile, you might not even realize how many of your wardrobe staples it makes up. The best part is how easy cotton is to wash and care for. Daddy gang, we have all been there where you reach into the washing machine and you realize that you have ruined an article of clothing. Those days are behind us. Okay? You can wear cotton in any season, any style, and for any occasion. Learn more about the benefits of cotton products for yourself, your style, and your space at thefabricofourlives.com. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by Tinder. All right, let's talk about Tinder. Or better yet, let's talk about the early days euphoria that comes with having a new crush. The kind of crush where you've been maybe down bad, but in the best way, okay? You cannot stop thinking about them. Every single song reminds you of them, and you are making up scenarios about them in your head. There's kind of nothing better, right? Well, amazing news. That crush feeling is waiting for you on Tinder. Like literally right now, you have no idea what is out there unless you start looking. And Daddy gang, the possibilities are endless. Once you have a crush, even the most mundane moments become beyond monumental. It is time to find the person who makes your entire day better by simply just texting you, hey, with a smiley face. You deserve it, okay? We all know there's no better feeling, and finding a new crush is easier than you think. Thanks to Tinder. Explore all of the possibilities for yourself. Tinder, it starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today. You are a fashion icon, so before you leave, we need to soak up some of the wisdom.
Okay.
Are you ready? We're going to end with a game. What is a 90s trend you wish would come back?
Catsuits.
I thought you were going to say that. You're like, are they very uncomfortable?
I mean, I wore some PVC ones. PVC catsuits in the desert in hot weather is not comfortable, Alex.
And what is PVC?
It's like plastic.
Like
it's
latexy.
Yes.
It's worth it. You looked so good.
Thank
okay,
you.
What's the one thing you think every woman should own?
The perfect tuxedo jacket or the perfect pair of jeans.
Are you into your high-waisted or low-waisted right now?
I like high-waisted.
Okay.
Yeah, a high-waisted long jean that makes your legs look like they go on for. It's about creating an optical illusion.
Love.
That's my thing.
Yes.
That's why I got into this game.
You're like, I'm here to make us look stunning, girl. Stick with me.
Totally.
What is one look of yours that David hated?
Oh. What does he hate? Do you know, we were playing this game not too long ago, and he said, what have I worn that you don't like? Now, I just said you look great in everything because that's what they want to hear.
Of course. You gotta.
They don't want the truth.
No. But what would you say you hate?
Everything.
You don't like everything that he wears?
No, I said you look great in everything.
But what don't you actually like that he wears?
He does look good in everything. It's David Beckham,
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Okay.
So he looks great in everything. And then I said, what do you not like me in? And I thought, well, I've got this because, I've got this. And he went, well, yeah, I mean, when you wear all those big baggy clothes and you like drown yourself in fabric. I was like, I was shocked. I thought, I've got this shit down. What do you mean you don't like something? This is like my thing.
This is me. This is my whole, this is who I am. This is what I'm known for. He's like, okay, wait, so one, I hate, and you're like, meanwhile, that little shit, you're like, I went easy on you. What is one piece from your line that you wear the most?
My Alina jeans. I wear them all the time because they just make my legs look so damn long. And I'm actually 5'4". I'm short.
You look so tall. The illusion.
Oh, stop.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you describe your current style in 3 words?
Simple, considered, elegant.
Cute. Okay. What is one tip that you wish you could give your younger self when it comes to style?
There's something so nice about when you're growing up where, I was quite naive. I didn't know about fashion. And when I look back at pictures and smile, however god awful it was, it's been part of the journey. And there was, you feel free. There's a sense of naivety that I love when you're younger. So just enjoy it. Don't be scared. If that's how you want to express yourself, go for it.
Cute.
It's part of the journey. It's part of growing up.
So do you wish you would have smiled more or no?
By the way, how smiley am I actually?
No, Victoria, you're smiling all the time. It's just when that camera hits, you're like, so good. I
had a slogan t-shirt once that said, I'm smiling on the inside because I feel that it's my duty to the fashion community or something like that.
Listen, as the kids would say, you are serving cunt. Okay.
Oh my God. I love that you said that. I love you even more now you said that.
Victoria Beckham serves cunt. That's the fucking title.
Oh my God, no, don't. That's a horrible headline. I'm actually really nice.
Oh my God. Oh, you're thinking I'm saying, no, you're serving.
Oh.
It's a difference than being.
Oh, isn't it a shame we can't put it on a t-shirt?
I know, it would be so cunt. Okay, as we've talked about, you've been through so many different phases of your life. How do you feel in this era that you're in right now?
Do you know, I feel really content. And still super ambitious and really excited about the future. But I feel content. I feel peaceful. I feel really happy. Obviously, so blessed. And I'm excited for the future,
Today, how do you feel about Posh Spice?
I love Posh Spice. I do love Posh Spice. I really do. People say that the Spice Girls changed their lives and the Spice Girls made them feel good enough. Because I said earlier that we were all little misfits and we worked together. I would be such a different person if I hadn't met those Spice Girls. They made me feel good enough. They made me... They turned me from being that morose 7-year-old into a confident, happy adult. And it's taken really this documentary process for me to really reflect and honestly say that at 51 years old, I feel good enough. It's taken me 51 years to realize, however many times people have told me I'm not, I'm good enough. And that feels good.
I love you being so open about that. I think this is such an inspiring conversation. The documentary is so inspiring. I think for so many young women, whatever age actually, as a woman, like for you to say like at 51 I'm actually feeling finally, I think it's like we have to give ourselves grace that it's a process and it's going to take a while, but really it is, not to be corny, but like it really is always within you that you can find the strength and the courage to be like, I love myself. And the sooner you can get there, the sooner you're at peace with yourself. And it's beautiful to, from all the way to the beginning of this, talking about that young girl, talking about all the headlines and all of it. It didn't break you. You shouldn't have had to go through it, but it made you stronger. And it's why you are the woman you are today sitting in front of me.
Wow.
I cannot thank you enough for coming on Call Her Daddy. I am not going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm going to be like, why didn't I ask her 19 more questions? But thank you for answering everything, and thank you for being so open.
Thank you. And thank you for everything as well, and for everything that you're doing for women. I really, really respect and admire you. And when I was listening to the episode that you did with Jane Fonda, and she said that she had been interviewed so many times and you were the best interview, I honestly echo that. I really do.
Victoria,
I really do. Thank you.
You made my job easy today. Seriously, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was an honor to meet you. I love you, and good luck with everything.
Let's have a tequila now.
Please.
I
Let's
need
go
one.
drink.